Here we go now.
Hey y'all, what's going on? What's going on? Woo! All right. Welcome to our Friday Live. Be sure to let me know if you can hear me, see me, all the good things. We're going to go through a bunch of different things today, from reality television to hot topics and more. Shout out to our King Scars that are already in the live chat. Shout out to already the 50 of you that have liked the video. Shout out to y'all. Hey, DJ. DJ says, best intro on YouTube. Thank you. I love that. Don Jean, it says, woohoo. What's going on? Angel's in the building. Foxy's in the building. Jamaki's in the building. Shout out to our members. Become a member today at TheKempire.com/join. Later on this evening, we will be playing you the last Kempire After Dark live show that we had here in New York City. But don't forget, a week from today, we will be live from New York for the Kempire After Dark, the only live show that we're having with our host, Taria Faizan from the What Else Is Going On podcast, who was just here this past week here on the channel, giving us an update, a boots on the ground when it comes to the Wendy Asefo criminal trial that is coming to Potomac. So stay tuned for that. Well, technically Potomac, but you know what we mean. So be sure to check that out if you missed it. But she is going to bring some exclusive tea to our live show. On March 13th, Friday the 13th. If you haven't already, get your tickets. There is a live stream option for those that can't make it. Or maybe you want to come, but you also want to be able to replay it on, for the weekend. You get to keep the live stream for 1 week after the show. They will be sending you the live stream link a little bit before the show. It tells you on the actual website. So be sure to check that out. Robin says, I purchased my virtual ticket today. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Robin. We appreciate you. Shout out to everyone that will be watching virtually. I will definitely be giving you guys a shout out during the live show. There is no live chat in the live stream, but you can, again, be a part of the show. It's a very different type of show in comparison to what you see here on YouTube or TikTok or anywhere else. So get your tickets today. All right. Before we get into anything else, let me see where you guys are watching from. If you're part of the replay crew, be sure to let us know and let us know where you're watching from and your thoughts. I will add the timestamps later on today when we get into when I get a moment. All right. Jamaki says, got my live stream yesterday. Thank you, Jamaki. What's going on? OMG, Steph is in the building as well. Happy Friday. Where did the week go? I can't believe we were just talking about a couple of weeks ago or 3 weeks ago that, it's a month away or blah, 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 blah. And next week is our live show, our only live show I have planned. I know you guys think I'm just saying that, but no, y'all know I'm a man of my word. Unless something magically happens between now and the rest of the year, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. Tuvoxy says she's watching from Merlin. What's going on, Merlin? All right. Hey, Judy. Judy's watching on Twitch. Shout out to everyone watching on Twitch. We are also live on Twitch. I hear the audio and the video is top tier on Twitch. So follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/TheKempire. All right. So our Friday Live, for those that don't know it, we cover a variety of different things. I almost did not go live. I know I say that every single week, but sometimes I'm like, there's nothing really to talk about. There's no new shows. We talked about the Valley Persian Style season finale last week. We talked about Traitors. We're going to talk a little bit more about Traitors because Candiace is breaking her silence. Not really, but sharing her thoughts and opinions in regards to what may have went down, her experience on the Traitors. And she had a special guest this week, Tiffany. You remember Tiffany from Big Brother, but also the Traitors, who we all felt went too soon. So she's breaking her silence on that on their podcast. We're going to get into that in just a second. Let me just open my notes. We're also going to talk about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I am going to share my thoughts on Ladies of London. I did get a chance, hence why I pushed back the live, because I was in the middle of watching the first 2 episodes. Bravo, you're welcome. The first 2 episodes of Ladies of London came out. I wasn't sure if I was going to watch it, but I did. Will I be back? I might. I might be back. So stay tuned, especially if we're doing these Friday lives. Maybe I'll talk about it here. Okay. Hey, Dr. Jen says, Marilyn, stand up. What's going on, Marilyn? All right. Ooh, Viva La Glam says, sneaking this live in during work. It's okay. A lot of people do. I won't tell, but please understand your boss might be watching too. Your boss might be watching too. All right. All right, where do I want to start? Oh, you know what we normally do. Our Flunky of the Week this week. Oh, Flunky of the Week this week has to be Kristi Noem. You know, our Flunky of the Week, Kristi Noem, who has been, quote, I'll put in fired in quotes because is she really fired? Well, one of my favorite accounts to follow on social media has to be Silent Middle Child. For me, he's my version of ChatGPT or artificial intelligence, even though he's a human being. He had this to say in regards to Kristi Noem and the announcement that she will be stepping down from her position over there at DHS as a secretary to DHS. Latanya says Matthew Knowles should be Flunky of the Week. You're right. Let's add him. Can we just write him in? Because I already did 2 videos talking about Matthew Knowles and him trying to downplay Tina Knowles' contribution to Destiny's Child. And some of y'all in the comment section also trying to downplay it. I did a video yesterday. If you missed it, be sure to check it out. Matthew Knowles, you get honorable mention for Flunky of the Week. Matthew Knowles. Okay? But Kristi, you got this one, girl.
So Trump just fired Kristi Noem, the Secretary of Homeland Security, who has been at the forefront of the brutal ICE assault on blue cities across the U.S., and most notably Minneapolis. And while I'm glad she's out, I wouldn't exactly say it's cause to celebrate, as the person that he's nominated as a replacement, Senator Markwayne Mullins from Oklahoma, is potentially even dumber than Noem. So let's talk about it. And first off, let's be clear that Noem was not fired, directly or indirectly, for her handling of ICE. She was fired after lying during a congressional hearing about a $220 million ad campaign that prominently featured herself, one in which most of the funds were funneled to an 11-day-old company owned by one of her associates. And it's not even really the lying that she was fired for, it's the fact that her lies specifically damaged Trump, as she said that he approved the ad rather than taking the fall for it herself. And since the cardinal sin...
$240 million. The amount of waste that's being spent on our taxpayers' money between the wars and just what's happening within our government, the amount of waste. And then they're talking about, oh, we're here to save money. The jobs information just came out. Unemployment's at what, 4.4%. There were like 92,000 jobs lost recently.
Of the GOP is saying anything negative about the dear leader, she's out. Except that she's not really out either, as Trump reports that she is simply being moved to a new position, the Special Envoy for the Shield of the Americas, which sounds like it was named by some fascist villains from a Marvel movie. Details on what the position entails are unclear, but it probably has something to do with the similarly named Shield of the Americas Summit that Trump is attending this Sunday, March 7th in Miami. The summit is basically a meeting between Trump and supportive right-wing Latin American leaders to revive the Monroe Doctrine, which basically calls for the complete U.S. control of any international influence in the Americas. In the meantime, Trump has nominated Senator Markwayne Mullins as Noem's replacement in DHS and ICE, which is really scraping the bottom of the barrel because aside from being a Trump bootlicker, the distinguishing facts about Mullins are that he's the only sitting senator without even a bachelor's degree, and that he's a former MMA fighter, questionable, with a history of unapologetically trying to get into fights on the Senate floor because, according to him, some people just need to be punched in the face. I'm sure we can all imagine what someone like that would do when put in charge of ICE. Now, he does seem to be confirmed by the Senate in his new role, and him accepting the role would mean that the Republicans would put a Senate seat at risk in the upcoming elections. But considering that the confirmation only requires a simple majority vote, I do expect the confirmation to go through. So altogether, what we have is more of the same with DHS and ICE, and no real consequences for Kristi Noem, who needs to be in prison for human rights violations, not in a cushy position as a fake international envoy for U.S. imperialism in Latin America. And while her recent demotion does leave her more vulnerable to state-level charges than before, I wouldn't expect any real consequences for her until we, the people, decide to start holding the current administration accountable for its actions. Are we angry enough yet?
Are we? Are we? Millie says that approved ad is money that came from appropriated funds. That means Congress had to have approved and had to go through several approvals and audits. We need to talk more about Congress and holding Congress more accountable, and that includes on the Democratic side too. The Democrats in Congress, yes, they don't hold the majority, but there's some things that they're signing off on as well. Just saying. Primaries are coming up, just in case you didn't know. Speaking of elections, I was very disappointed in Texas. I'm sorry, Texas, but not really. A lot of you did show up and show out, and there were a lot of ways of them trying to prevent people from voting happening over there in Texas. Jasmine Crockett did not win her primary against James Tarico. I saw, and this is another honorable mention for the random X user. I'm not going to highlight them because they probably have like 200 followers, where they posted a picture of Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang. You remember we gave them "Are you okay?" mention a couple of months ago, because they encourage people not to donate to Jasmine Crockett's campaign, saying that she was not going to win. She had no chance of winning. Yet, for the one of the very first times ever in a Democratic primary, got over 1 million people to vote for her. Okay, despite trying to have voter interference. So this lady posted this picture of Bowen and Matt Rogers and simply said, "Vindicated." They weren't vindicated. They weren't vindicated. No one said that Jasmine Crockett was going to definitely win. The reason why that people were upset with them, first of all, they're not from Texas. They normally don't talk about politics. I now really do believe that they were bought and paid and asked to talk about something that they had no idea about. I believe that they were bought in order to randomly mention this guy that no one really was talking about at the time. At least not on that level of, around the country on podcasts, and them of all people. And if you remember the clip, I posted the clip a while back. If you remember the clip, they were like, "Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know a lot about him, but I like him." All they knew that he was white and a man. This is coming from two marginalized people. Don't know a lot about him, but that James Tarico guy. Mind you, that was the first time I ever even heard of James Tarico. That was the very first time. And this is why I really do believe that they were bought. Someone asked them to talk about that on their podcast. Mind you, they rarely talk about politics and things like that. They had no real reason to feel like, yeah, vote for him. Let me just remind you, the last white guy that ran for Senate on the Democratic side that actually, to the point where I donated to his campaign all the way here in New York because he was so inspirational, was Beto O'Rourke. And even he lost. So this whole narrative that the white guy could only win isn't necessarily true. But if you want to feel like that's vindication, they're dragging her on X right now anyway. So you're all right. Lou says, we flipped from Republicans voting 60% to 49% in the primaries. Democrats showed out, but there was fishy stuff in Dallas, which was Crockett's turf. Yep. And Judy said that he's an undercover Republican. I've heard of that too. So Flunky of the week, honorable mention to the random X user saying that Bowen Yang and Matt Rogers are vindicated. They are not. They can join the flunkies of the week as well. Okay. K-Baby says they were definitely paid off. Yeah, not all money's good money. Just saying. All right, moving on from our flunkies of the week, let's talk about RHONY. Because some of you have been asking me about RHONY. We've been randomly talking about it on TikTok. RHONY's announcement, their new cast has been announced. I know you're probably like, new cast? What? Yes, the new cast has been announced. There's 3 new ladies, and then the 3 from the original reboot has been revealed. Wait, hold on. Let me pull up a clip because I wanted to play a clip from what Andy Cohen said about Miami. I almost see, this is why it takes me. So this is why I always had to push back the live. I was like, wait a minute. There's another part of this story that I want to talk about. There's another part. As I'm doing that, guys, don't forget to like the video. It's easy, free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. This is our Friday live. I will add timestamps a little bit later on. Let me know if you're excited about this RHONY reboot. Did you also hear what Andy had to say about Real Housewives of Miami? I feel like both are important to mention. So let me just play for you what Andy had to say about the Real Housewives of Miami and why they're not currently filming. Because now people are like, are they put on pause? I have speculation on what I think is happening here. But let me play this for you. Shout out to our friends over at Bravo and Snarkside. Be sure to follow them. I get sometimes clips from them. You know, we cite our sources over here. So we get clips from a variety of different places. So I want to play for you what they got from Radio Andy this week.
I love Miami. You know, there are some, I think we're looking at how to keep it as fresh as possible. And that's kind of the only story. You have to remember, we've got how many? 9 housewives going right now. So what you don't want is something either sitting on this shelf for so long. I mean, I always think that there's a benefit in waiting. If there's no rush to get it on the air, I always think there's a benefit in, you know, waiting. And then when it comes back, everyone's like, oh my God, how great. It's finally back. I mean, remember that, we're about to pick up cameras for New York. And that's been, gosh, at least a year since that last reunion, at least. And there was a period between Atlanta seasons that was a year or something like that. So,
but you remember with Real Housewives of Atlanta, they were rebooting it. That was a reboot. They didn't do a complete cast reboot, but that was a major reboot. They got a bunch of new housewives. They brought a housewife that hadn't been there in a long time. So unless you're rebooting Miami, I don't think Miami needs another reboot to their reboot. They needed a couple of changes, and I think they weren't willing probably to make certain changes. That could be another reason, but I have a bigger reason why I think what's happening with Miami.
This happens sometimes in the Bravo sphere, that there's maybe a longer wait for news or something that you would like to know. But
this is also not the first time that they took a long time to bring Miami back. Remember the last season took forever for them to bring Miami back, which is so weird to us.
So that's where we're at right now.
Hence why they probably also decided not to really include all of the cast from Miami for the Ultimate Girls Trip. Here's my speculation. Based on me reading between the lines of what Andy Cohen is saying on Radio Andy about there's no rush. That is what he's saying. He's not saying that Miami's put on pause. He's saying that there's no rush. I agree. I don't believe that you should rush anything, but I think this is convenient. I think the powers that be, I know a lot of people think that Andy Cohen is the power, the ultimate power over there at Bravo. He's one of the powers, but there are suits that you don't know of that are way above him. And I believe he is so invested in the Rhode Island is coming. He's invested in this reboot to New York. I think he's very heavily invested in New York, because in what world would a show that gets rebooted is getting rebooted again? So I believe the network probably gave him a boundary, and they were like, well, if you want New York to actually happen, if you really want this to come back, Miami can't come back at the same time. Miami's going to have to be put on pause for indefinitely. I'm not saying that this is fact. I'm not saying that this is what I've heard from sources. This is my speculation. I believe that he's prioritizing New York. Yes, New York has been a long time. I don't understand why they don't just normalize. It's done. You tried, it's done. It didn't work. New York, I give these other shows better grades because of how bad New York was. I grade all the other cities on a curve because of how bad this reboot of New York was. I'm not saying that this new iteration will be just as bad, but I believe that the network heads, the suits, the powers that be, told Andy Cohen that no, we're not going to bring Miami back. Unless we'll bring Miami back, but you have to choose. It's either Miami or New York. Who do you think Andy's going to choose? You already see that Andy has his favorites. I believe, not to say that he has any favorites in these women specifically, but I definitely believe that he prioritizes New York. I wouldn't be surprised if you see New Jersey before you see Miami. So yeah. Sidebar. Okay, wait. Before we get to sidebar, so we saw the news this week that there's a RHONY reboot to the reboot happening. All right. Deadline reports that Bravo has set the cast for the Real Housewives of New York season 16 as filming begins. It began this week. Following a lengthy hiatus and various cast departures, the network has confirmed that Aaron Leachy, Sai Da Silva, and Giselle Tank will return to the reality series for the new season. New additions for season 16 include Haley Glassman, who we need to talk about, Erica Hammond, and Daisy Toy. Returning to the franchise following an 8-year absence is Carol Radziwill, who will join RHONY season 16 as a friend of. Carol took to social media and says, "Look, guys, you manifested this, not me." I've never gotten the hype. I didn't mind Carol for the years that she was on Real Housewives of New York. However, she was never a fave of mine, ever. There isn't a memorable moment from her that I'm like, oh my God, that was so iconic. I always felt like they try to make her seem like the Carrie Bradshaw of Real Housewives of New York, and she was never that for me. She was never that cool. I can appreciate her book. I can appreciate her story. I can appreciate her connection to the Kennedys. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate her career as a journalist, but she's not a reason for me to watch this reboot. Sorry, but that's me, my opinion. You might disagree. That's okay. That's all right. But I do find it interesting since the announcement, if you check under the comment section of Bravo's social media, a lot of people are talking about, isn't she Ghislaine Maxwell's bestie? So for those that didn't know, Carol's mentioned in the Epstein files. She is. I'm not saying that Carol knew anything about what Epstein was doing. I do find it interesting that Ghislaine had a beautiful picture of Carol in her apartment or somewhere. I don't remember. I don't know if it was in the apartment. Was it Epstein? Was it on Epstein Island? Don't quote me. So I had to remind myself, okay, so Carol's name appears in Jeffrey Epstein's personal contact book, his black book. Remember when people used to have a black book? The book contained thousands of contacts, including celebrities, politicians, and business figures. Inclusion indicates someone's contact information existed in Epstein's network, not necessarily that they had a relationship. Okay? Radziwill's name reportedly appears in an email involving entertainment publicist Peggy Segal. And if you look at Peggy's involvement in the Epstein of it all, that's a mess. Segal is known as a Hollywood and New York City society connector who organized events attended by elites. The email suggests a social network type connection within the New York media and celebrity world. Emails showed that Ghislaine Maxwell referenced Radziwill in communications. Maxwell reportedly described Carol as one of her, quote, closest friends in correspondence. Documents indicate that Maxwell had Google alerts tracking news about Carol Radziwill. That's weird. First of all, I don't have Google alerts about myself, never mind someone I know. This suggests that Maxwell followed Radziwill's media coverage and public profile. Outside the files themselves, photos and public records show that Carol and Ghislaine were a part of the same New York City social circle in the early 2000s. Maxwell was even credited in Radziwill's 2005 memoir, What Remains. So reports on the documents emphasize that Carol is not accused of participating in Epstein's crime. So that's important to know. Her mentions relate primarily to social connections or references in communications. Okay. Carol has said that she knew Maxwell socially in the early 2000s. She had not seen or spoken to Maxwell in nearly 2 decades. My interest would, I really would want to know like timelines, because the timeline is important in regards to Jeffrey Epstein and when he was first arrested for PDF behavior. And I also feel like a lot of these rich people know about people and they just don't talk about it in regards to things that they've heard about them. So that is what you're hearing when it comes to Carol and the Epstein files of it all. Okay. Hey, Janelle. Janelle says, due to renewed interest in JFK Jr. and Carolyn Bessette with the FX show, I think that's why Carol is coming back to RHONY. The JFK show has been talked about a lot for 2+ years before it even premiered. I'm still not interested. I'm still not interested because my thing is, if they were such good friends to you, are you going to, mind you, don't forget, do y'all forget some of the things that Carol said about being a part of RHONY and that experience? So don't you find it hypocritical that she would return to the scene of the crime? But that tells you about people and their character. All right. Andy Cohen did also talk about having a meeting with Carol before her deciding to do this. And he, they've recently rekindled their quote friendship. Okay. I think Carol probably wants to hawk a book, probably wants to more relevance for whatever reason. I don't know. But here we are. So Carol will be returning. I do want to play this though, because we could go into who these women are. I really don't care. I know one of them dated the guy from Kate Plus 8. She dated him in her early 20s, right? Yeah. That's all I know. But there is a lady that's a part of this, Haley Glassman, that was accused by a podcaster of body shaming her and trolling her in her DMs. Let me play this clip for you.
Hi, okay, I have like some tea. I don't know if tea is actually the right word for this, but I saw this post on Dumois talking about how New Real Housewives of New York has started to begin filming. Here are the returning housewives and here are the new ones. And the new ones, sound a little familiar. Of course I know my girl Erica Hammond. Great casting. And then I saw the name Haley Glassman. I could not put my finger on why her name sounded so familiar to me, so I went over to her Instagram. I did not recognize her face, nothing. And then I went to our messages, and that's when I realized, I know Haley Glassman. She has been a troll of mine, like a deep internet troll, since 2017. The first message I ever received from her in 2017. Oh my God, your voice is so annoying, like Janice from Friends. Here's another one. Damn, you were thin. I must have posted an old photo of myself. She's obsessed with my weight, look. Skinny mini now. Looks great, but you gotta own you're on Wegovy. I was on Ozempic. You're an influencer and you should really be honest on your platform about it. When you need any skin tightening, since you definitely lost enough to need it, I'll set you up with a great plastic surgeon. Incredible shrinking woman, thank you. Once you get...
First of all, who sends DMs to someone that you don't know like this?
Where you want, we'll take care of you for a 30s neck lift. Hashtag Glassman plastic surgery. Not Ben catching strays. Dad bod, LOL. But I think she's also a huge fan because she also has mazel tov when I announced I was pregnant. Here she is again, my biggest hater, my biggest supporter. Look, happy Mother's Day soon to be mama, and then literally a month later, so weird how you were skinnier pregnant than you were 2 years ago not pregnant. You're a magician. Congrats, mama. I don't know what barrel Bravo was scraping the bottom of when they casted this person, but it's giving Monica from Salt Lake City.
OMG. So the Daily Mail says that RHONY newcomer Haley Glassman swipes back at influencer Claudia Oshry's trolling claims with a searing statement. They said one of the newest stars of the Real Housewives of New York is standing up for herself after becoming embroiled in a controversy soon after her casting was announced. Publicist Haley Glassman has found herself in hot water after influencer Claudia Oshry claimed that the new Bravo celebrity had been, quote, trolling her since 2017. Oshry, also known as Girl with No Job, posted screenshots screenshots of messages of Glassman allegedly sent her over the years in which the new reality star commented on her weight and mocked her annoying voice. She has been a troll of mine, like a deep internet troll since 2017, alleged before sharing screenshots of the messages Glassman had sent her, which we just showed you. Now, Glassman is defending herself with the representative, Adrian Schwartz, exclusively telling the Daily Mail the publicist was, quote, not trolling Autry, but merely engaging with the influencer's provocative content. Scathingly, she stressed that she stood by her criticism of her voice. She still finds her voice annoying. A representative of Glassman exclusively told the Daily Mail, for an influencer who had to apologize for her bullying and racist comments, even losing her podcast for racism, it's unfortunate that she feels the need to attack Ms. Glassman. In 2018, Autry's podcast, The Morning Breath, was canceled after her past anti-Muslim tweets had surfaced. Also, you got a whole issue too, Claudia. Haley's responses were in no way, quote, trolling. She was simply engaging with Claudia's provocative content, the rep said. Ms. Glassman responded to her post appropriately, even sending a sweet mazel tov for the birth of her child and offering sound advice to be respectful of her young followers when she seemed to be dishonest regarding the use of weight loss drugs, which is a legitimate, relevant issue. Ms. Glassman is the daughter of a very respected and prominent plastic surgeon who offered her plastic surgery advice to an outspoken influencer who posts nonstop about her weight. Let's face it, bullying Ms. Glassman all while playing the victim after openly having to apologize for her own past bullying is a bad look. She should be embarrassed. Ms. Glassman is in support of all people. She has expressed women are beautiful, every shape, every size. They're all sexy, but she says the sexiest of all is authenticity and respect to all groups of people. With that said, Haley stands by her comment regarding her distaste for Claudia's voice. Well, wait a minute. She might be one to watch because she sounds a little problematic. All right. Exactly. Just Chili says, you sure that person doesn't know her? Because that seems personal. Well, Claudia was a public figure, a podcaster. So she, sometimes people feel like they know you if they see your content and things like that. So maybe that's why she was DMing her those things. But that's so interesting. Okay. All right. So there's your update. The RHONY reboot is happening. I can't say that I won't be at least giving it a shot. But I'm not necessarily excited about this RHONY reboot. But, look, we shall see. Guys, today's live is brought to you by our friends over at Factor Meals. I love a good Factor meal. They have so many varieties. They allow me, someone that doesn't love to cook, even though I did do a little cooking this morning, I prefer to do a breakfast. But they also have that too. So technically, I didn't even need to do breakfast. I could just pop something in the microwave in 2 minutes and have it. But you know what I really love about Factor is that there are quality ingredients, dietitian approved. Somewhere between the first warm weekend and realizing short season is getting close. I already got my shorts on. Okay. Eating well stops feeling optional. Factor is how I stopped letting a busy schedule be my excuse. Fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs. Ready in 2 minutes, no planning and no cooking. Quality functional ingredients, including lean proteins, colorful vegetables, whole food ingredients, and healthy fats. No refined sugars, no artificial sweeteners, and no refined seed oils. Meals that fit your goals and schedule. Healthier eating, calorie management, more protein. Okay, 100 rotating weekly meals to keep things fresh and delicious through winter. As I said before, they have high protein, they have calorie smart, Mediterranean diet, and so much more. They even have ready to eat salads now. Okay, all right. So of course we've gotten you a discount. So head to factormeals.com/Kempire50off and use code Kempire50off to get 50% off and free breakfast for a year. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Make healthier eating easy with Factor. Factor meals, information, and discount will be available in the description. Thank you to Factor for sponsoring today's Friday Live. We appreciate them. You know, we love our friends over at Factor. We've been working with them, oh my gosh, like multiple years now. Oh my God, it's probably like 2 years we've been working with Factor. So shout out to them for believing in our podcast and YouTube channel. Thank you, Factor. Quality sees quality. Boop. All right. Moving on from there. Where do I want to go next? Okay. Shout out to our King's Guards in the chat. They hold us down. We appreciate them. So be sure to say thank you and hello to them. Shout out to our channel members. I see quite a few members in the chat as well. Hey, members. All right. Where do I want to go next? Let me talk about the ratings that came out this week. So the ratings for the Potomac reunion came out, and the ratings for Married to Medicine came out. And then we could talk about Married to Medicine's reunion looks. So Married to Medicine's latest episode, episode 12, had 593,000 viewers, which is not bad for them. That's very, very good for them. They had a 0.09 in their demo, the 18 to 49 demo, which is ideal for advertisers. Okay, so that wasn't bad for them. Before them, leading into Married to Medicine, the final part of the Potomac reunion, they had 728,000 viewers with a 0.11 in the 18 to 49 demo, which is pretty good for them. It's not their highest ratings, because their highest rating, I still believe, was the Karen Huger season finale with her sit-down, her one-on-one sit-down. But still not bad. This is not bad for Potomac. All right. And if you missed it this week, we did have Taria Faison here on the podcast talking a little bit about what she observed during Wendy and Eddie's status hearing this past week. Their trial is set for May, right around the time that they're going to be filming the new season of Potomac. So I'm sure they're probably figuring those things out now. All right, let's get to the Married to Medicine reunion looks. Another reason why I was a little tardy for the party. So Married to Medicine's reunion looks, all in red. Here's the thing. When I first saw it, I was like, wait, flashback. Are we having another Potomac reunion? Who made these decisions? And I'm not saying that they shouldn't be able to wear the same color. It just feels like, because they're following each other. It's not like it was earlier in the year. We just had the Potomac reunion and they were all in red. So do they not communicate? But look, we look great in red. Okay, I don't know if this is a theme for the Met Gala, but you can see who had the best outfit. Who had the best outfit? Who had the best outfit? Okay, let's take them one by one. Let's start with the newbies. Okay, so this is Brandy's reunion look. You know I like Brandy. I think she's a great addition. I'm looking forward to her coming back. I think her hair looks great. I think makeup looks good. I like the dress. This is sort of like what Jazzy was trying to do. Do you think that she achieved it better? Because maybe it's a little bit more subtle. I don't like the gloves, though. That's the only thing that I don't like about Brandy's outfit here. I don't like the gloves. No, the gloves I don't like. It just feels like a little too much now material. But I do love that we can see the décolleté. I like the earrings. I thought this was pretty. I definitely thought this was pretty. How would you guys rate it from 1 to 10? Not as giving Carmencita. JB says, I love Dr. Mimi's look. We're going to get there in a second. Real House Husband says, Happy Friday, Toya. Not Happy Friday to us? Exactly. Billy said the red wedding again. And like we just had it. So it just feels like a lot back to back. Little Miss Sunshine agrees with me. I like the dress. The gloves got to go. Paula says way more subtle. Foxy says it's a bit cute. All right. I'm seeing 5s. I'm seeing 6s. I'm seeing 7s. I'm going to give this a 7.5, maybe an 8. I think if we didn't have the gloves, I probably would give it an 8. I'm going to give this a 7.5. This is how I would rate Mimi's look. I like the dress itself. It looks like a bunch of beautiful red flowers on this dress, but everything's like a red, so you see texture. Her hair is long and luxurious. I think she looks great. I think she had a really good first season. If I had to rate her season, I would give her a 10. Okay, so that was Brandy's look. Let's look at our other friend of the show. Okay, Angel Love. Am I surprised that Angel Love looks beautiful? Not at all. I think the dress is pretty. I think she's pretty. But I think I just want more from Angel. I just want more than just being pretty. And we talked about this endlessly this past week during the recap, so I won't beat a dead horse at this particular point. I will say this. I feel like, although everything looks beautiful, I feel like she looks unfinished at the top. And when I say unfinished, it feels like, did she just walk out from just finishing her makeup? Like, I feel like maybe there should be like a jewel in the hair or a necklace or something. I'm not sure. It just feels a little unfinished on the head part, even though I know she's not. But I don't know. I just feel like it just feels a little unfinished. I'm not sure how I feel about the train either. The train seems a little stiff. You know? Just see, it just feels a little stiff. But I still think she looks beautiful. I like the pattern of the dress. Okay. Beautiful. How would you guys rate Angel Love's look? I think she looks good. Paula says the gowns. Well, this past week, y'all told me the dress she wore to her event was a freakum dress. So this is an actual gown, right? This is an actual gown. Again, the big thing for me will be seeing it in motion at the reunion. The train feels a little stiff to me, so that, or it could be the picture. But I mean, she's a beautiful woman. She's a beautiful woman. All right. Destiny says I like it. Well, how would you rate it? Angel gave it a 7.5. Cherry gave it not a 4. Okay, I don't think it's that bad. Trini says I see what you're saying, Count. See? 6.5. Miss Mellow Magic gave Danny gave it a 7. Miss Parker gave it a 5. Okay, y'all don't really like it. Do y'all see what I'm saying about the head part? It feels like she was still doing makeup. So I don't know. Something. I needed like a jewel in the hair maybe, or a necklace or something. I'm gonna give this a 7. I think it's fine. I don't hate it. I don't love it. Okay. Bong says, "What's up with them and Potomac Ladies all in red?" I don't know why they did that. I don't know whose idea it was. I know it's 2 different production companies, but y'all still on the same network. Okay. Paula gave it a 6 due to the train. The train looks a little stiff. Millie says her energy in not her energy. Don't talk about her energy, Millie. You know how she is about people and their energy. Says her energy in the pose is off. It could be that too. It could be that. All right. Heavenly. Oh, damn. This was probably my least favorite look. Heavenly. It's giving Monique Samuels from the Potomac reunion, like superhero-ish. All that hair. I don't love this look. It's sort of, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. The long train, the asymmetrical bust. It's not bad. You know, we've seen bad. Because I hate the fact that I compared it to Monique's look. However, because Monique's look was a lot worse, if I'm going to be honest. Coco, that's a perfect way of describing it. It's giving 90s Barbie Christmas. That's exactly what it's giving. It's giving 90s Barbie Christmas. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Mrs. Melon Magic says the pose is a no. Yeah, maybe the pose is not going to help either. Not a -10. Not -300 Angel gave it. Melon Magic gave it 4. Heavenly a 4. Okay, lipstick. Well, damn. I can't even finish what you just said, Fish-Eyed Jedi. It reminds me of Drew Sidora reunion look from season 14. That's what it reminds me of. You're right. Not Evelyn. Takia says Heavenly is giving Evelyn from The Wiz. Especially in the face. I saw, Heavenly has a lot to celebrate. She now is qualified to run for Congress in District 13. So congratulations to her in regards to that. How would I rate this reunion look? I'm going to give it a 5. I don't love it. Toya. I mean, Toya usually brings it to the reunion. She's had some misses before. This reunion look is very sexy. I mean, between the very low cut in the bust, the almost sheer, like you can almost see that like she's not wearing clothes under this dress. The pose is posing. I don't necessarily hate the hair, but I don't love the hair. I don't know if it could have been done differently or maybe more of a shorter cut, like a bob. But it's still sort of bob-ish, but I don't know if I love the curliness to this bob. You know what I mean? And I kind of feel like she should have had like a long necklace to kind of to drape in between the exposure of her breasts and in this dress. Because again, when I first looked at it, I was like, oh, this feels a little unfinished, but it's still sexy. I love the dress. Hair, skin, face is always giving. Okay? Himeta says that it's very sexy, sensual. Yes. I just feel like something on the neck would have been beautiful. I don't know. I don't really love the hair. I don't really love the hair. I don't hate the hair. Okay? But she's probably one of the best dressed. Right? Nadalyn says, I love the hair. Look, I mean, you have a right to how you feel. Desiree said, I love the hair. She came ready to slay. Yes, Dr. Miss Honey says some sparkle on her wrist would be nice. Yeah, it just feels a little like she also, very much like Angel Love, came out of getting hair and makeup and just like, oh, we got to take a picture. And she wasn't done getting ready. But I love the dress. I think she looks great. But I feel like some jewels, like a bracelet, a necklace, something. That's the only thing that I feel like that's missing. Okay? But I still love it. It's probably one of my favorite looks. I'm going to give it a 9. It probably would have been a 10 if she had fixed some of those things. Say, okay, Don John sees we see each other. He says the hair could have been a bit shorter. That's what I was thinking, like a nice little bob, which she's done before. We've seen her with that short bob. Not a bob. Yeah, but not like the short, not like short hair, but like a more like around her neck or like around her chin. Millie says, were they all rushed? Right, kind of feels that way. All right. How would you guys rate her look? I'm going to give it a 9. That's how I would rate Toya's look. Dr. Contessa, whose fashions have been questionable since she's returned, okay? Hair and makeup look great. The dress, I don't hate it. It feels safe. I don't hate it. I mean, I honestly expected Dr. Contessa to come out looking like Monique at the most recent reunion. So the fact that she came out looking decent, I'm here for it. She looked great. Okay. But would I give it a high rating? I'm going to give it a 6.5. Because I don't really love the dress. I don't really love the train, but it feels like a safe choice. And she could have went and did something crazy. And she's done that throughout the season. But I thought this was just okay. Just okay. Miss 17 Sweet says, I don't like the dress. Angel looks beautiful. Angie says. Desiree says the train is awful. It could also be, keep in mind too, whoever prepped her for the photo did not fix the train properly because it feels like the train is like slumped over. Dina says there's so much wrong with that dress. Okay, let's point out at the bottom there where you can sort of see the under part of the dress. It feels like we shouldn't see that. I don't really love that. Oh, damn. 6.5. Deborah says, that's too high, Kim. This is my rating. What's your rating? Do not judge other people's ratings. Vicky says she looks beautiful. 9. See? I'm not judging Vicky's ratings because I feel like that's way too high, but that's Vicky's rating. Jimmy gave it a 6. All right. Tracy gave it a 7. See, it's fine. Danielle says, I don't like the dress. Wait, hold on. Danielle says, I don't like that dress. I don't like that the dress is shorter than the sheer part of the dress. Yes, the very, very bottom part of Dr. Contessa's dress. The train can go. She gets a 6. See? We see each other on this one. All right. Tiki says the top of her dress and the underskirt is giving after 5. Tiki gave it a 5.5. Danny Wade gave it a 6. The lining should have well all the way down. Yeah, it's that lining part at the bottom that throws it off. I don't really love the dress overall. I don't love what's going on at the bust. But in comparison to what Contessa has given us fashion-wise over the season, y'all, ain't this a good one for her? Y'all saw the things that she wore this season in her confessional, in group events. Come on, this is an upgrade. This is an upgrade. Guys, don't forget to like the video. We're almost at 400 likes. Thank you so much, Maloney, for the super chat. We appreciate your support. Maloney says Contessa looks darn good walking out to set on her page. Oh, see, that's why they post their own photos. Don't let me go look. Let me go look. Let me go look, because maybe it'll change my mind about Dr. Contessa's look. Where are you, Dr. Contessa? Not Dr. Contessa follows me. Hey, Dr. Contessa. Let me see. Wait, I can't. I don't want to turn the music off. It does look better, y'all. With her walking out. You don't see the part that we're talking about at the bottom. It does look better. Oh, Contessa. Oh. Her walking out. Thank you for telling me to go look. It does look better, y'all. Oh, Contessa, I'm sorry. You do look good here. Let me show y'all the video, because you got it. Look, I got to show y'all the video. Give me a second while I do this, because she does look better. Come on. No fair. Who's doing these pictures at the reunion? Y'all set her up. Y'all set her up. Let me show y'all it does look a lot better, y'all. It does look up, and you know, sometimes they do the whole face tuning of it all, and they make their pictures look. No, this is video. This is video that makes her look better. Hold on, damn it, I can't get it. I'm trying to get the. Oh, there it goes. Hold on, let me show it to y'all. Please hold. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it.
Don't wanna make a scene. I really don't care.
Hold on, y'all. Let me see. I want to turn off this music. There we go. All right. Let me show y'all. Already, doesn't this look good? Doesn't this already look good? Thank you, Maloney, for letting me know. Doesn't this already look good? Come on, hold on. Let me show it to you. I muted it. Look at this. It looks so much better. Didn't I say that how they did her train, they did her dirty? In comparison to what you see here on the right. So for those that are listening to the podcast version, go to our YouTube version so you can see the dress. Let me show you again. Justice for Dr. Contessa's look. Justice. Now that looks gorgeous. Who took this picture? I can't stand Bravo setting y'all up. Wow, that's a long train though, Dr. Contessa. But doesn't it look better? It looks so much better from that angle. Look at that. Look at this. Exactly. KK says the dress looks way better. Foxy says much better. I give her a 5. Whistler says I give her a 9 now. Me too. No, we got to give her a 10. We got to give her a 10 just off the strength of how they set her up. It's Women in History Month, okay? They set her up. She looks gorgeous. Come on. This is the picture that they should be using. Erica's is proud finally. Lord, me too. OMG, this looks gorgeous. Lord have mercy. How they do her so dirty like that? Yeah, see, Deborah says, thank you, Deborah. Deborah says, you were right, Kemp. That looks gorgeous. I give it an 8.5. Right? Justice for Dr. Contessa. Who said Scoot took the picture? Someone set her up. Someone that don't like her set her up. Because look at this in comparison to this. The dress looks so much better. I don't know if someone went in and said, girl, we got to pull your dress down. Crystal says, Bravo sabotaging her. Let me play it one more time. Come on. Look at this. It looks so much better from this angle. I'm so glad she posted this. Dr. Contessa, justice for Dr. Contessa in her reunion look. Now I'm kind of looking like, now I want to see what, did Toya post hers too? Maybe she got jewelry on that we didn't know about. Toya. Let me see. Let me see if Toya posted her pictures. She did. Hold on. No, it's the same. She didn't do anything different. I mean, she still looks great though. She looks great. She did a little face tuning. She did a little face tuning. It's okay, Toya. You're beautiful regardless. Dare I say, y'all, not based off the picture, but based off the video, I gotta give her a 10. She's the best dress for me. Best dress for me. All right. Dr. Contessa, a 10. Not based off that picture, though. Dr. Jackie. Dr. Jackie, first of all, 60-something-year-old woman. I like the bob. This is the kind of the bob I was talking about that I kind of wish, not necessarily with the part over here, but this is sort of the length I kind of, or in the straightness of the hair that I wanted to see for Toya. I just feel like Dr. Jackie's is swimming in this fabric. There's way too much fabric, but the leg is legging. This is a 60-something-year-old woman. Arm is arming. She looks great. It just seems like fabric, though. There is no situation to the dress. There is no specialness to the dress, but she looks great. The body is what's going to save the dress for me. Exactly. KK says Jackie's in amazing shape. The dress, though, is just fabric. It's like the curtain that I'm about to hang. Okay? All right. Arjun says 10 for Dr. Jackie. No. 10 for the body. Definitely. I got to get Dr. Jackie because the dress is terrible. The dress is nothing. It's like, the dress is nothing. I'm going to give Dr. Jackie a 7 just because the body is bodying. All right? The body is bodying. The dress, not so much. I like the shoes, though. All right? They kind of remind me of the Wizard of Oz. Dorothy's shoes. All right. Dr. Jackie, I'm going to give you a 7, though. I might up that to an 8 because the body is bodying. Okay? All right, moving on. For those that are just joining us, this is our Friday Live. We're talking about the Married to Medicine reunion, season 12 reunion looks that were just released before the live. That was Dr. Jackie's look. Dr. Mimi. Dr. Mimi looks like a model. The pose is fierce. For me, if we had side by sides, well, I think we can. Hold on. Wait a damn minute. Hold on. Okay. This is what you ordered. Oh, wait, let me put it on this side. Let me move this over here. Okay. Monique. Okay. Dr. Mimi is what you ordered. Monique is what you got in the mail. Monique is what you got in the mail. Okay. This is what you ordered, Dr. Mimi, and this is what you got in the mail. Okay. I think Dr. Mimi looks good. I think the haircut, I think that the look of the hair is perfect for the actual look. From what I can see, is that chromatic underwear that I'm seeing under there to match the chrome that we're seeing on the dress. She's showing leg. Like Dr. Mimi is given very serious during the season, but this outfit is giving sexy, sensual. I'm here to stay. I hope that she brings that type of energy at the reunion because the look is looking. She looks great. Whoever helped her pose and set her up did a phenomenal job. The styling is great. I love, again, the bob. This is what I kind of wanted to see from Toya in regards to her hair. It's sort of like the straight hair, okay? The sentient sensei says, your unwavering disdain for Monique's dress is everything. I mean, it's hard not to talk about it because it just happened. But what I ordered versus what I got, okay? What I ordered versus what I got. I mean, it's the same material. What I ordered versus what I got. Mimi's pose here is giving everything. Face, hair, makeup. I have to get, this is a 10. This is a 10. Asha says a -1 for the hair. Damn. Well, look, I feel like the hair is so fitting for the look. I mean, she could have pulled her hair back. I don't know. I like it though. I think the bob, just the way that it's slicked back, I think this is perfect. Okay, Desiree said it's a no for me. Taco says that the dress isn't doing it for me. Foxy says she could do better. All right, fine. I liked it. Tiki says exactly, it's an outfit. Danielle says I don't like the dress. Dr. Mimi gets a 6. Wow. All right. Kurt says I don't like it. Miss Parker gave it a 9. Angel gave Dr. Mimi a 9. All right. Jamie says Mimi looks fabulous. Wish she had some bangs though. I like the fact that she's owning that she has a big forehead. I at first I have to say I was like, ooh. But then I'm looking at the outfit. The more that I look at it, Taka says I strongly disagree, but I will view Kemp. It's okay. This is not for us to agree, y'all. You have your opinion. I have mine. Okay. We don't have to agree, but we can all agree that Monique's look is terrible, right? We can all agree that, right? Right? Okay. Let me know, guys, if you're part of the replay crew, let us know how you would rate the reunion looks from Married to Medicine. We're not done. We still have Dr. Simone. I think Dr. Simone looks, I mean, I kind of wish the slit was a little higher, but I feel like she's going for demure. I think she's going like, age appropriate, as some of you like to say. I think her hair and makeup looks great. I like this color on her. I don't know. I don't know. Something about the bottom half of this dress I don't love. I don't know. Maybe it's where the slit ends. I like the color on her. I feel like the fitting could be a little bit better, especially like around the arms. And I don't know, because it always feels like with Dr. Simone, she gets a dress, but she doesn't get fitted or tailored for the dress. You know what I mean? Or the dress doesn't get tailored for her. So it wouldn't shock me that she probably just got this off the rack and then she didn't get it altered. You know what I mean? I like the hair, but the dress, although a beautiful dress, it doesn't feel like it's tailored for her. Jamie says the shoes aren't it. Teresa says Dr. Simone, -10. Amina says I don't like the shoulders. 5 says, is it burgundy or black? It's burgundy? It's burgundy? How would you guys rate it though, from 1 to 10? How would you rate it from 1 to 10? Let me see. Oh, it's a better version of Giselle's dress? Which dress? Not from this last reunion. Not from this last reunion. Okay. Beatrice says too much fabric for her height. I think because the dress is not tailored to her. Yeah. She looks lovely. Foxy says 8+. I'm gonna give her a 6, just because I feel like it's not tailored to her. I'm seeing 7s, I'm seeing 6s, I'm seeing 1s, I'm seeing 4s. Sydney says the color is pretty. I really do like the colors as well. Osing says her face and hair are flawless though. Yep, I think hair and makeup looks great. K-Love says she could have done better, not a reunion look. Diamond says I wish the slit was higher. I think she's probably going for a little bit more, demure look. But I don't feel like this was tailored for her. But also her pose is kind of not doing it justice either. All right, so that was Dr. Simone. Last but definitely not least, let's talk about Quad. Okay, Quad. Quad is, okay, y'all talking about Dr. Simone's slit wasn't high enough. Now Quad is showing us no underwear. Okay? Quad, I had to say, when I first saw this photo, I said, is this AI? Because the face is looking, you know what I mean? Like, it is snatched. Hair is looking perfect. There's not a hair strand out of place. Even the color of the hair seems perfect. Bust is busting. Okay? I think Quad looks great. Did Quad post any video of her look? Let me see. I just want to see. And this will be the moment that I find out that I'm blocked. No, I'm not. Thanks God, Quad. She didn't post any pictures of the reunion yet that I can see. So I'm sure she will at some particular point, right? Sure she will. No, she too big. She too busy in Ghana. That's probably why she's too busy in Ghana, y'all. All right. I think Quad looks great though. I like this. I think she looks so perfect that I'm like, I thought this was AI. I'm gonna have to give her. I'm gonna give her a 9.5, just because I'm like, I'm not sure if it's not AI. Because hair makeup looks perfect, skin looks perfect, dress. I like the dress. It's different. It's a little risque. I like it. I do like it. How would you guys rate it from 1 to 10? This is Quad Webb's look. She's not married to medicine, but she's still here. Nodalyn gave it a 5. Carolina gave it a 10. Nodalyn gave Dr. Simone a 3. Tiki gave it a 9. K-Baby gave it looks good. I gave it an 8. Foxy gave it an 8 plus. Miss Sharisi says, I wonder if King came to the reunion. I don't know. I don't think so. 2 Foxy says, round it up to a 10 Kempire. Nope. Because I'm still not sure if I want to give it a 9.5. I think she looks great, though. I think she looks great. All right. That's the Married to Medicine reunion looks. How would you guys rate it? All right. Keep liking the video, guys. We're almost at 400 likes. Thank you so much, Maloney, for another super chat. Maloney says, gotta go to her go to her page, please. Whose page? In regards to Dr. Contessa, we already did. Who else? All right. What else? Let's move on. Wait a second. Quad says she's a chef in her bio. All right, just interesting. Okay. Let's move on. Where else do I want to go? Where else do I want to go? We talked about that. Let's talk about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I will be adding the timestamps a little bit later on, guys. All right. So stay tuned for that. All right. DJ says better than Potomac's overall. Oh yeah, yeah, you're probably right. You think? How would you guys think? You think they were better overall in regards to the red looks? Okay. All right, I'll be yawning as soon as we start talking about Beverly Hills. Oh, Lord. Not me yawning. All right. So at the very top of the Beverly Hills episode, we see Sutton's living her best life alone with her dogs and her cats. Living her best life. Oh, Dr. Jackie's page? Let me see. Okay, before we move on, let me see what Dr. Jackie, and this will be the moment I find out Dr. Jackie blocked me. Nope, she didn't. Thank you, Dr. Jackie. You get it. All right. Okay, this does look a little bit better because she added the fur coat. I mean, the body is bodying. Okay, let me show y'all the fur coat. But this was not a part. This is not what we're going to see at the reunion. We're only going to see her in the curtain. Just saying. All right. Let me show y'all Dr. Jackie. Hold on, y'all. So this is Dr. Jackie's look with the fur coat. With the fur coat, it's better, but you still have that drape of a dress under it. But the body is bodying. This is a 60-something-year-old woman. She looks amazing. She looks amazing. Okay. All right. There you go, Dr. Jackie. You're welcome. It didn't shift my opinion like Dr. Contessa's look did. Just saying. Okay. Did she have her cat sweater on? I don't remember now. I don't remember what Sutton had on. Let's talk about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills stuff, okay? So Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, we start off the episode with Sutton at home sitting with her I actually have the same television that I gave to my sister recently. That little mobile television. I thought I would use it like when I'm on my terrace or something, but I never did, so I gave it to my sister. So she's at home with her dogs and her cats living her best life alone. Whoa. Okay. All right. Then we get to Bose and Dorit hanging out. Here's the thing. I don't know. Do I believe that Bose and Dorit have a real friendship? I don't know. But Dorit comes across so fake when she sees certain people. Like when she was hanging out with Rachel, like it's so performative how she acts. So when she sees Bose, she's like, "Oh my God, my Bosie's here!" And like it feels so performative and fake. I can't say I feel the same way in regards to Bose and how she treats Dorit, but that's just me. Okay. Um, so Dorit, so Bose tells Dorit what Kyle said about her while they were in the Hamptons in regards to Dorit's mood being erratic. Okay. I don't remember if those were the exact words. If anything, Kyle said worse about her being manic and OCD and things like that. Bose says, I believe the reason why you're late is because of you're talking to the lawyers or the kids. Why are they acting like Dorit being late is brand new? We've been talking about Dorit being late for years. And the last time I remember them making a big deal about it, remember it was during the pandemic where she was taking that photo of her looking in the window. Remember that? People still make jokes about that photo. And I'm just sort of like, this is not new. This is not since her divorce. She's been late and disrespectful of people's time for years because I'm getting glam. You know what I mean? So why are they trying to make excuses now? Bo's like, I figured you're talking. Well, Bo's is new. So she's like, I just figured you're talking to the lawyers and you're dealing with your kids and blah, blah, blah. No, she's always been this way. Denise's party, Miss Melon Magic said. She's always late. I find that to be very disrespectful. It's one thing to be late once in a blue, but to be late all the time, especially for flights, you're getting left. I don't care. You're getting left because you are disrespectful. And then they're just laughing it off. I'm like, okay. Bo says that her reaction for her concerns about Dorit is like, let me go check on my friend. Bose wants to come across like she is the best friend in the entire world, that she's the girl's girl. But I've told you countless times, anyone that refers to themselves as a girl's girl usually isn't, based on patterns that we've seen over the years. Okay? So Dorit's issue with Kyle talking about her, she's like, if you have concerns, and she says her issue with friends that have concerns but never bringing the concerns to her directly. And I have to agree with her. I don't disagree with Dorit when it comes to how Kyle is handling the situation, because her description of Dorit's behavior, I have to agree with Dorit. It's the hypocrisy. You're talking about the things that I'm saying on this reality show that could affect my custody situation or my divorce, but you're calling me erratic. You're calling me OCD. You're saying that I'm having these manic moments, that you're concerned about my well-being, that I'm like all over the place. That's going to hurt her more, if we're going to be honest. So I have to agree with Dorit in regards to that. Okay? But Dorit points out how Kyle, at one particular point in her issues with Mauricio, she was emulating the behavior of new friends, but she said she didn't handle it the way that Kyle handled it. She checked on her friend. She also points out that Kyle is saying things, like I said before, that could affect her situation with PK. So Bose, then we see this transition in another scene, but Bose does invite the group to Italy. She's hosting this trip. Apparently, it's her friend's home mansion that they will be staying at. So she invites the entire group. So they flash back to when Bose is inviting the entire group to Italy. Sutton's just like, I'll go anywhere with you. Y'all, I can't with the fakery, and I get it. In Beverly Hills, there is always fakery, but it's so obvious this season. Y'all don't like Sutton, and Sutton don't like them, but she wants to stay on this show, so she's playing nice because she doesn't have anyone that will have her back. Period. She's like, I'll go anywhere with you. Mm-hmm. You probably said that to Garcelle too. All right. Dorit reveals that she spent nearly a decade in Italy. So, of course, cue the Italian accent and the Italian language. Okay. In a separate scene, we have Kyle and Amanda meeting up for coffee. And I will say this. I feel like the tides are turning when it comes to how people feel about Amanda. People are getting on our train, y'all. I feel like Amanda's great reality television. Would I personally want to be friends with someone like Amanda? No. Do I think she's nouveau riche, meaning new money? Yes. But I think she handled herself. When we talk about people coming on Watch What Happens Live and being a newbie and handling themselves, she has handled, in comparison to some of these other ladies on other cities, but like Bose on Watch What Happens Live, Bose doesn't handle herself in a way that to me that's interesting or makes people like, yes, Bose is so interesting. Or we talked about Sweet Tea when she went on Watch What Happens Live, or even the recent people. I feel like Amanda really handled herself and was unbothered by some of the criticisms that people, including this cast, have had about her. And I was just like, okay, Amanda, I was impressed. I just watched it today. I only saw clips last week when we recapped Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but I did get to see it today. I was impressed with how she handled it. Desiree says, I don't care for Amanda. I think Amanda's good reality television. And I think everybody coming up against her is going to turn people around. Okay, Deja says, who likes Amanda? Come here now. People are turning. The tides are turning in Amanda's favor. Okay? Then Amanda says that she gets 3 facials a day. And Kyle's like, not 3 facials a day. Can you imagine? 3 facials a month. Well, I'm about to go get my second facial for the month. But I have a live show on Friday. Yes, next Friday. Yes, don't forget the Kempire After Dark live show is happening next Friday here in New York City. There are some tickets still available, in-person tickets available, but if you can't come, there is a live stream available. So go get your tickets today. Ticket information on the Kempire After Dark, a live show, a night of unfiltered commentary on pop culture, reality television, and tea being spilled, both by our host, by myself, and you. All right? Just Chilling says, another Stacy, the way that they're treating her. ARF says, didn't Amanda call Bose a mail-in-order bride? No. RF, did you just make that up? That's what Dorit said to Crystal. Logis says, Amanda is great. Okay? Not the tide is turning me away. Y'all are a mess. Okay. No, the people do not like Amanda the way that they like Stacey. Dina says, I don't think people will like Amanda the way that we like Stacey. Amanda has evil in her eyes. No, that is her way of seducing you to come into her cult. Okay? Just Chilling, thank you. The live stream only, $19 for a week is not bad. Thank you. Yes. Be sure to check that out. Okay? All right. So Kyle and Amanda have a conversation. We find out that she gets 3 facials a month, which I think that's excessive, especially because she says she gets the works. I do 1 facial a month, but like I said, I'm going to have my second facial within a month because I have a live show. I have an event. Okay? I mean, based off what I see of Amanda's skin, not to say that she has bad skin, I couldn't tell that she gets 3 facials a month. Okay, but maybe she needs it. I don't know. Miss Brooklyn Diamond says, haven't watched this season, haven't missed it. Well, damn. All right, fine. Well, fine then. OMG says, I wish I could afford doing that. See, that's the thing. I think some of what Amanda's doing is playing into what she thinks a Beverly Hills housewife is, based on Watch What Happens Live. If you guys saw what she said there, she's like, people complaining about her bragging. She's like, I thought that's what we do on this show. So I think that's what she's leaning into. So Amanda talks about how people were at her manifestation party, and she said Bowles was just drawing on it. She's like, they really didn't show up for it, which I have to agree. Like, I don't know why these women are acting like they're in California. You're not sitting there acting like you never heard of manifestation, that you're not into it. I think they just all wanted to have a problem with Amanda. I will give Erica Jane credit. She was like the only one that was fully engaged. So, yeah. Kyle says that Dorit had glam at 2 a.m. for a 5 a.m. flight, and she was almost late for the flight. Okay? And she claims that this is a new side of Dorit, and that's why I was like, no, it's not. Dorit has always been late, and you've been complaining about Dorit being late since way before the pandemic. So I don't know why they're trying to act like this is new erratic behavior. But I also don't understand, first of all, where's this money coming from, Dorit? I know you get paid on this show, but I also know how much they pay you, how much money Bravo gives you for glam. It's not a lot. And you're getting glam at 2 a.m.? 2 a.m.? You know what you could have done? Pull your hair back, wear some shades. I don't understand why you needed glam at 2 a.m. Exactly. Mr. Melvin asking, with what money? I don't know. Maybe the same credit card that she used in the Hamptons. Okay. Exactly. OMG Steph says, I live in Los Angeles and all that woo-woo stuff is popular. People have life coaches, etc. That's why I'm not shocked. Like I know the culture over there in LA. I don't live in LA, but I know the culture. That's why I'm like, why y'all acting? Y'all just don't like Amanda. And I think that's why I'm sort of like, yeah, I get why people might not like Amanda, but this cast, they need a villain. And they're making her their villain and her their focal point. Exactly. Millie says, this is the same vein and late to read. Cherry says that she can do her own makeup. That's the one thing I have to give Kyle credit for. Kyle is probably one of the richest women on this show, but Kyle doesn't get glam. She doesn't do any of that stuff. I don't mind the glam of it all. I get it, but it doesn't always have to be a thing where you have to have glam at 2 a.m. Kyle is able to do her own makeup. She always does her own makeup on these trips. Kyle probably has way more money. No, not probably. She has more money than Dorit. She has more money than the Erica Jane. She has more money than who else is on this cast? I think she even has more money than Sutton. So I don't know. But that's a Capricorn in Kyle. But all right. Boom Shakalaka says, Erica's the only one that needs money manifestation. Laughing out loud. What kind of financial manifestation does Kathy, Bose, and Sutton? Was she there? Need. Well, manifestation is not just about manifesting money. Just saying. You could want. I know Sutton wants to manifest a man. Okay. Bose wants to manifest a bunch of stuff too. Maybe a man with a bigger bank account than her own. Who else was there? Sutton wants to manifest a man. Erica wants to manifest money. And Bose wants to manifest a man too. Just saying. All right. All right, moving on, guys. As I'm doing this, do not forget to like the video. It's easy for you way of supporting the channel. If you're listening to this on the podcast, don't forget to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Thank you to everyone that's already given us a 5-star review on those platforms. We appreciate you. And if you're not following us on the podcast, you should, because I just dropped a special Hot Topics episode on the podcast where I give you a summation of some of the hot topics from this past week. You can also hear our conversation with Taria Faizan about what happened inside the courtroom of Wendy's case this week. So you can hear that on the podcast as well. SK says, a man with a real hairline. How dare you? Look, how dare you? I know she's talking about Keely, but still. All right. All right. Moving on. Let's move on because I'm already over this episode. One of the best things that I like about Rachel are her kids. Especially her youngest son. I think he's so funny. You just never know what he's going to say. So she sits them down to let them know about how the divorce went viral. I love that her oldest son was just like, oh, it went viral? I didn't see anything. Didn't I tell you? I was like, yes, we saw that it made the news. I think some of us were shocked. Like, wait, I thought she was already divorced. But the way that she was acting when the news broke out, she was like, oh my God. And then her in this moment saying, I didn't know when I filed this petition that it would be such a big deal or that everybody would know that it would be so public. Rachel, you're not new to Hollywood. Your attorney had to tell you this. Don't sit here and play in our faces. I was just like, come on, Rachel. Don't sit here and act as if you didn't know by filing that we wouldn't know. Okay? And it also didn't go viral. Lord. But anyway. So her sons say that it's crazy that it went viral, but it says, I didn't see anything. Her other son asked if she wasn't in love with their dad anymore, and she wouldn't say that she wasn't in love with him, but she was like, it's different. Her son says that the energy around the house feels more peaceful since their separation, which is nice. I mean, I think a lot of people stay in marriages thinking that it's better for the kids, and you don't realize that it's actually hurting the kids. Rachel asked her sons about meeting their dad's new girlfriend, and apparently they were very uncomfortable when she was there. Okay, and they do not care to know this new woman. And Rachel would like to respect their opinions because she's like, they're of the age where they can tell you their opinions. And if there was a guy that they didn't like and they didn't want him around or around them, she wouldn't have them around them. Is the woman that the father is dating the woman that he cheated with? Do we know? Because that would be my question. Because if so, I could understand even more why the kids would not want to be around her. Okay? Paula says, woo, 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 it wasn't on his feed. Well, I would assume nothing like that would be on her son's feed anyway. But he's like, I didn't see it. I didn't see that it went viral. But I also feel like Rachel's trying to make it seem like it was more viral than it actually was. All right. OMG Steph says she believes that Rachel came on the show just to bash the ex-husband. You think? I wonder. Now that you say that, I'm wondering. Deja Lyric says, I like Rachel, but she did this divorce. Wait, but this divorce is big news in her head. We don't care as much. I agree. I think a lot of people thought she was already divorced. Right? All right. All right. Everyone's saying that this season's lackluster. Like even more lackluster than any other season. Okay. Paula says Rachel called Andy to be on the show to bash her ex. Ooh, Lord have mercy. All right. So then we have this scene with Amanda going, she's planning her wedding for October. They better pick up cameras because this wedding sounds like it's going to be all out. She's like, her budget, I guess her budget cut was supposed to be like at $300,000. It's already kind of gone over that. The wedding's happening in these two towns, and she's already bought out all the hotels for these two towns. How much is she really making? Like, I know nothing about like her business. So she's in her least fanciest car. That's how she described it. Her least fanciest car with her wedding planner. They get to this venue, this place to kind of figure out the chairs and the flatware that she would like to have. So she says she's having like 200 plus guests. Okay. Apparently they're planning like 4 different parties for like the wedding weekend. She decides on this blue china, and I have to say the blue china was pretty. Honestly, that's the only thing I even care about. I only care about I want to see what this wedding is going to look like with all this wedding planning that she's doing. But what I hate is that every opportunity that she has, she mentions how she makes more money than her soon-to-be husband. She's like, I make in a day what he makes in a year. How much does he make in a year? Because I need to know how much you're making. Me and the IRS want to know how much you're making in a day. Just asking. Okay. Lou Max says, I like Amanda. Sorry. I think look, liking someone for reality television doesn't mean that you like them as a person or want them to be your friend. But I get why they said, she's a good fit. You know what I mean? OMG Steph, that store had a lot of pretty stuff. OMG Steph, that's in Beverly Hills. You can go. The dinnerware, the plates that she chose, I was like, that's actually really pretty. They're really, really pretty. KK says, me and the IRS. Exactly. Okay. So yeah, I thought that every time she says this, I'm like, I don't like when she constantly emasculates her husband, but she says that he doesn't mind. He knows that she makes the bulk of the money in the relationship. Oh, okay. All right. All right, Papoose. All right. Moving on from there. Erica goes shopping with Kyle, and they talk about this Italy trip that they're going on, and they flash back to the 2015 Italy trip that Kyle did with Lisa Vanderpump. Kyle says that Dorit has been very worried about her life and her future and points out their financial issues. Okay. Kyle says that she would never speak to the people that Dorit is. She says that she would rather speak to the people that Dorit's listening to because she feels like Dorit doesn't listen to her, or it turns into like an argument with them. Okay. So she says she would much rather speak to people like Bose because she knows that Dorit's going to listen to them. All right. She says she talked about Dorit having to pay half of everything now in regards to her finances and whatnot, and how PK's not wanting to pay for certain things anymore. Erica says that she can relate to what Dorit's going through because, she had a moment where she was losing her mind when it came to her divorce and her legal situations with Tom. But she says, I was mixing, pills and drinking. But didn't you tell, what was it? Crystal, that we don't drink. We don't ever drink on the show. We act like we're drinking, but we don't drink. So was that just a performance that you were giving us on the boat and in those arguments with the women, or were you really drunk? Or maybe you weren't drunk, you were just asking. Just asking. just wondering. Because now I have to say, the minute Crystal said that, I was like, so what were those moments then? But okay. All right. So then, of course, we get the scenes with everyone packing for the Italy trip. What stood out to me was people talk about how cringy Amanda is when she talks about designer and things like that. So y'all don't feel the same when you see Rachel Zoe packing and she's showing you, well, this is Gucci, vintage, this and that. And I'm just like, I have to say, it doesn't necessarily land the same with Amanda versus Rachel, but I do still feel like they all do it. More so, I definitely noticed that Rachel does it a lot too. But I'm not surprised because I do feel like Bravo wants her to talk about those things. But she's like, oh, this. And honestly, the dresses all look the same, but a different pattern. Hobo chic. I don't think Rachel is that. Maybe she's better. There's a lot of stylists that are able to style people better than themselves. I don't like it. I don't like it. SK says Rachel's a stylist, so it feels more on brand for her. Maybe. I still kind of like, I don't need to know everything. I don't need all the name dropping when you're packing. You know what I mean? But fine. Riz says, no, because Rachel's the stylist. Okay. Still tacky, though. And when I'm saying tacky, not the fact that she's mentioning it, tacky that she dresses tacky, in my opinion. I think she dresses really, really tacky, but that's me. Okay? That's me. All right. Moving on from there. Women, they're all traveling in separate groups. Okay? They're traveling in separate groups. Sutton volunteers to room with Amanda. And she says, because I'm nice. No, I think, first of all, this was a 9-bedroom mansion. None of them needed to share a room. Okay? I believe this is production. I believe this is Sutton's way of, because she knew that maybe they were going to have someone do that. And they don't do this on Beverly Hills in regards to fighting over rooms. I think her volunteering to help Amanda with the group is just Sutton's way of playing up, oh, I'm the mediator this season. But I feel like this was a scheme that Todd set up for Sutton to come to us with the BS. The minute she said it, and then the minute when we get to the actual mansion, and it's just like, there's 9 bedrooms. No one needs to share a room. No one needs to share a room. So why are we sharing rooms? Okay. And then, of course, we go to the twin bedroom. I was like, okay. Ms. Brooklyn Diamond says, maybe the other rooms were needed for production. Maybe. Maybe. But I don't believe that. Because you know what they've done in that case? They'll probably have them stay by a nearby hotel or something like that. I don't believe that. I think that was on purpose. I definitely think that was strategic. I think that was very strategic. Especially with Sutton trying to, placate to the other women because they're playing nice with her this season. But all right. SK says Sutton's trying to find her footing now that Garcelle is gone. Exactly. Exactly. OMG says 9 bedrooms and they get the twin beds. Well, you know, maybe that's the only room that had 2 beds. Okay. KK says maybe Sutton is on time out by production and stuck with Amanda. I think she's playing nice to the rest of the group. Okay. Cherry Blossom says this episode sounds boring. I'm bored talking about it. So they get a tour of this beautiful mansion. It's beautiful. You know we love decor. So if you want to see the decor, go check it out. I think it was a beautiful mansion. This is apparently Bose's friend. And she's like, I kind of wish I came here without these broads. She's like, if I had known it looked so good, I would have come on my own a long time ago. Okay. Nelly says producers producing the drama. Bria Lynn says, I'm with you on that, Kemp. Had an old friend that was always late and no one in our friend group, but we confronted, no one in our friend group but me confronted her about that. Yeah, I don't like that. I think that's so disrespectful. It's one thing, it's once in a blue, but constantly late? Stop. Natalie's there, but not there. It's like, and it could be just the edit, but it's like, okay, why is Natalie here? If anything, y'all could have kept Natalie at home so that Sutton could get her own room. Okay? But okay, we're going to wait. We're going to wait to see if finally we get something from Natalie. But it's been how many episodes since we were introduced to Natalie? And it's just like, okay. Miss Melmeasure says, let's move on, friend, if you were bored. Well, I'm almost done. They arrive in Italy. They get a tour of the beautiful mansion. It's gorgeous. The women are arriving in different groups. Okay. We get to see Bose's primary suite. Gorgeous. From the bathroom to the closet. And Bose's stylist was already there. Kyle is just like, oh, Bose is bougie. The last person that did this was Diana Jenkins. Yeah, I guess if you got it, you got it. We also know that Kyle's got it, but she doesn't do those things. Okay? So Amanda and Sutton are in their room on their twin beds, and they have a conversation. Amanda says that she thinks that Dorit and her could have sorted all of this stuff out, because we've been saying this. The beef between Dorit and Sutton is not that deep. Not Sutton. Between Dorit and Amanda, it's not that deep, especially when you see what she said. It's not deep. What Kyle has said about Dorit was a lot more deep. Okay? And she says, I have more of an informed opinion. And I forgot, because she did mention this to Bose, that she has her master's in counseling. But she also emphasizes, like, I worked specializing in childhood development. I worked with children from divorced homes. So she really does have an informed opinion when it comes to navigating this conversation. Okay? And I was like, oh, well, you know, I didn't think about it that way. But again, I don't think what Amanda said was that malicious in comparison to what Kyle said about Dorit. Okay? So Sutton says that she doesn't want Amanda feeling isolated or alone, but because she can empathize. She says that there was a period of time that she would hold back more and then she would blow up. She says, I lost my mind. No, you said exactly what you wanted to say and you felt emboldened to say it. Now, all of a sudden, how many months later, you want to act like, you know, you had lost your mind. You weren't who you were supposed to be, but now you're a changed woman. I do declare. Now she's a changed woman. So now she wants to help little old Amanda. Well, she says Amanda needs to find her voice and not use the one from when she was 5. Well, I just need you. Never mind. I'm going to leave it alone. Because I can't. So that's how this week's episode of Beverly Hills ended. I did see that Andy Cohen posted that he's asking for questions for the reunion for Beverly Hills. And I saw a lot of people saying, this only needs to be an email. This only needs to be a memo. This only needs to be a one-parter. And I have to agree. Because I can't imagine spending a three-part reunion on, and if they do end up doing a 3-part reunion or a 2-part reunion, guys, first of all, if they get a 1-part reunion, ooh. I'm going to give you a heads up. If it is a 3-part reunion, I'm going to recap the 3-part reunion as one recap. I'm not going to every week talk about part 1, part 2, and part 3. Okay. Hey, LW. LW says replay crew here. Hey, Kemp. Hey. I love it. I love it. So that was it. Can we move on to, we're still talking about Traitors. Yes, Traitors is still a hot topic. Yes, by now, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Been over a week. Excuse me. That Rob has won. You may have seen or watched What Happens Live. He gave Maura a Birkin. Okay. And as part of his promise, how much did he spend on that Birkin? Like $10,000, $15,000? Deborah says, question, why is Beverly Hills still on the air? Because they filmed the season, you know? They still getting decent ratings for Beverly Hills. So Foxy says, I'd say no reunion at all. Well, that's not going to happen. They're already asking for the questions for the reunion. But this has been a lackluster season. They should be put on pause. In comparison to Miami, we recap Miami. I was excited to talk about Miami more. Yes, there were some triggering moments, but I was more excited to talk about Miami more than Beverly Hills. And I get it. They're not getting maybe the same ratings as Beverly Hills, but the quality. Oh, it's $16,000 a bag? Wow. And he won like 200 something $1,000. And then you know he doesn't get all of that, right? He probably is going to get like half of that. All right. Fine. Well, he gave that to Maura. I guess Maura lucked out, right? Maura lucked out. Let's talk about Traitors. Okay. So Candiace, as you know, has her own podcast, Undomesticated. And she talked a little bit about her experience before having Tiffany on. Because remember I said when we recapped the reunion, I was like, we didn't even talk about Tiffany and her exit. We barely got any Tiffany during the reunion. So I'm glad that Candiace had Tiffany on her podcast. But before we get to the clip that I want to play a little bit of what Candiace had to say about her experience and what people have been saying about her since the reunion. So let me play. I'm going to play it at a certain speed, y'all, just for copyright reasons. We're going to play this on the fair use. We'll stop and go. Okay. All right. So this is what Candiace had to say first about her lessons from Traitors.
Goes so fast. It's 12 episodes, including the reunion. NDAs are lifted. We can now speak candidly and openly about the show in its fullness, if you will. And I have full talking points. I have full thoughts to give on it. Taking into consideration a lot of the discourse that I've seen online, and it is what I've always said about the show. It is the greatest social experiment that I have ever witnessed, I think, and definitely that I've ever been a part of.
I can imagine, yeah.
And even more so, and this is true, I think, for anything, hindsight is 2020, I didn't realize how much of the social experiment it was until I got out of it and I was able to, take a full inventory watching it back with all of you. And I have a lot of thoughts. And we have a really special guest that'll be joining us tonight who also can speak directly to the experience, who a sister of mine, who I think who will have add really good points and good commentary to the conversation. But I had 3 specific points that I wanted to touch on. The difference between being right and being believed, just in general strategy, and bias. Those are my 3 points. So now I'll just say this very clearly. For me, the biggest lesson I think that I'm taking away from this season is that there's a big difference in being right and being believed. And the two just exist very, very differently. I will also say there's a lot of commentary online just immediately assuming that because I am challenging certain aspects of the outcome of the show, that I'm mad at the outcome.
And that's one of the things that I've been saying. I'm like, I feel like the housewives come on Traitors for different reasons in comparison to the gamers and the regular folks that come on Traitors. They like the experience of being on television. They come for the entertainment. They come for the opportunities that come from being on a hit reality TV show. I think that's a bonus, the winning, to win it, but they're already getting paid. They're getting paid a good amount of money to be on Traitors.
The show. And let me be very clear when I say I'm not upset. I'm not mad. But I'm also not just going to allow history to be rewritten and call someone's game flawless when it wasn't. I think that in general, people just generally have a penchant for following, kind of like the safest person in the room, the person who I think feels the more comfortable or the most comfortable to them. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're the most accurate. Yeah. So that's that.
Sidebar. In this episode, she also talked about how she got phone calls from the network in regards to some of the things that she would say on social media about this. But she also talked about when she was on Potomac, some of the things that she would say on social media or posts that she would like. And they actually took like $35,000 from her because like as a punishment. Oh,
Um,
Is this in particular? I'm just curious. When you wanted Rob to essentially just own that he strategized to win it solo, that's it.
That's exactly what
You
I'm
just want him to acknowledge we wanted to do it. That's it. That's it.
Yes. And yeah, I think that there is a hesitation. There was a hesitation on Rob's part in owning that. And it felt sort of like he kind of went the complete opposite direction into sort of like a victim space almost. Like, no, that's not how it was. I didn't want to do it. I had to, which is, I mean, to quote myself, is poppycock. Because it's like, you didn't have to. Like, you made choices, as we all did. We all made choices. And yes, it's a game, and the game is about, treachery and duplicity and being shifty. Yeah, like, for sure. And you took an oath to do all of that. We all three of us, well, 4 or 5 of us, child, all the traitors, we all took the oath. So, own that was the way that you played the game. This idea that, I didn't want to and I had to. And okay, I mean, yes, but you did do what you did. And it was shifty and duplicitous and backhanded in the name of the game. So just say, yeah, that's what I did. And instead of doing that, there's this other narrative that I think is being put out. And I think it's weird. And that just goes into my second point of, being charming does not equal flawless gameplay. It does not equal flawless strategy. Winning does not automatically make you flawless. It means that the social environment worked in your favor. And I think that goes back to the social experiment of it all. Like the fact that this game really is like a lesson in modern day society and who we decide to put our trust in and who we decide.
and that's part of the reason what I love about reality television. That's part of what I really do love about watching some of this all play out. Sidebar, we didn't even get a chance to talk about Ladies of London. I'll talk about that after this.
To, cast out or believe who we decide to believe versus who we don't believe. Being charming does not make you smart. It just makes you charming. And it also kind of serves, I think, as a shield. And that also worked for Rob. He did a really good job.
Did y'all think that Rob was actually charming? Look, we weren't there, but based on what we saw, I don't think that Rob was really charming. He was quiet, I guess good to look at to some of those folks. I don't think he was charming. Millie says Rob wasn't strategic. I also don't think he was strategic. They let Kristen, from Top Chef, she was just like, that sweet boy could not be a traitor. Madam, this is a game.
Of letting everyone else sort of carry the narrative, so he didn't have to do that publicly. And generally speaking, he was protected by the entire room, save like myself and Tiffany, who is our guest tonight. And I think it was so funny in the reunion, you hear her say at one point, I think Lisa's like, yes, we were all, just enamored with Rob. And she was like, I wasn't enamored. I screamed. And then at one point, prior to that, when it was just the traitors out on the set, someone, I forget who it was, maybe Andy, Donna said something similar. Like, we were all charmed by Rob. We all loved Rob. And I was like, mine is Candiace. And I think there's a vilification happening there because I'm not, to quote myself again, drinking his bathwater. It means that I somehow like hate him or that I am angry that he won, that I'm a sore loser. I've seen that a lot. And I'm just kind of like, I'm cackling at how far left a lot of people are taking this. Like, two things can be true. Like, I can congratulate Rob on his win. I do. And I'll say it again for those who, don't put congratulations, Rob, you won. And still also be critical of his gameplay and of his general behavior and persona on the show and post show. Those things can both exist.
When you say post show, what do you mean specifically?
So I'll just say, when I was doing a lot of my press, I was redirected in some of my press based on feelings that people had about what I was saying in my press.
Got you.
Which is, for me, par for the course. I think my entire unscripted life, which is almost a decade, I have been censored or some version of being censored.
And don't get me wrong, I did, because remember those early years of Candiace, I was not a big fan at all. Okay, because some of the things that she would say on social media.
Um, and I'm just, at this point, I'm just like, okay, sure. Like I would get a call every week from my executive, who I'm still very close to, saying like, that tweet was a little harsh. Can you maybe take that down? Like, I'm used to it. And I also say too, shout out to Lisa Rinna, whose book is out. What is it called? You better believe I'm going to talk about it. Her book is out now, and she has done a really great press run. And one of the things that she talked about in the book that made like the headlines was that she was fined $50,000 by NBC for breach of contract, essentially saying things online that go against your contract. And I remember I texted her and I was like, I feel really seen. I feel really seen by that. I always kind of felt like I was alone in that. I too have been fined, not quite 50, maybe somewhere around 30, 35K.
Who are you fined for?
There are rules, Michael. There are rules that come into play when it matters. That essentially I would like things. There was definitely a PA or a paralegal or somebody in business affairs whose job it was just to watch my Twitter. And this was back when you could, this was back when you could see people's likes. And I would like shit. If something sat well in my spirit, boop, as Michael would say, like.
I can see it now.
I was liking left, right, and center because
letting the people know.
that shit is true. And that went against the rules. And other thing, and I would say things, and you've all seen some of the stuff I've said like that, but it was mostly like me affirming things that were being said. It wasn't always what I would say. It was more so I would get in trouble for, you're a polarizing figure, and when you stoke the flames, it riles up the fan base, and we just need you to calm it down. And then after a while they were just like, okay, well we just gonna take, and they wouldn't even tell me. I would just get my money and they'd be like, this like a little shop, and then I'd call and go, yeah, we took some of it. Oh, thanks for telling me. So yeah. I felt really seen by that because, I don't know that I know any other housewives that have. I'm sure there are. When I think about the other controversial house, I'm sure there are, but it's just never been discussed publicly. It just felt like a scarlet letter on your chest. Like, so that was nice. But yeah, I'm used to that. But that's what I mean when I say post show. Yes, there was some of that where, discomfort was afoot. And, I was asked not to use certain adjectives to describe.
Not certain adjectives. Stupid 2061 says, Rob was a good player and a convincing traitor. Not great, but his win was deserved. I don't think I wouldn't attack Rob and his gameplay in regards to it, because at the end of the day, he won because these faithfuls were less than smart. Okay? Because there were opportunities for these faithfuls to catch on. Some of them caught on too late. And then you saw what happened with Mora. So then there's that. All right.
Cool.
Not just
everybody's. Oh, anyway. Okay. So my third point, and then because I want you to get in and I want us to get to our homegirl. How do I say this? I want to speak to perception bias and identity. The same behaviors often, and this is again, social experiment. This happens in life and it happened in this game. The same behavior reads differently based on who it's coming from. And we saw a lot of that in this show. People, I found, respond differently to confidence, to gravitas, depending on who's delivering it. And my whole life, I feel like I've been not battling against this, but like dealing with it. Strong women are often labeled as angry or emotional when we're just being direct. I was called an angry Black woman yesterday on my socials under one of the shared posts that the Traitors US page is like, they're sharing a lot of stuff post show, and somebody was like, "Stop being an angry Black woman." And I just it's like LO fucking L, like social experiment.
Why my mind just set
steroids.
Just the comment section on fire.
Yeah. I think there were so many like nuances of gender bias, racial bias, that existed in this space. And it's just interesting. And then I also want to touch on, once again, my banishment. And I stand on this, that the way that I went out was intentional. It was not at all emotional. And this idea that I was so angry and
That's the thing. If you know Candiace, you know when Candiace is emotional. I don't feel like her decision on how she went out, I think she kind of knew the writing was on the wall the minute her name was out there.
horrible game because my votes for Rob were emotional. When we saw a lot of emotion coming from others on the show, but it was framed like, oh, that's strategic. Oh boy, that's great gameplay. Oh my God. And it's just like, do you see yourself? Like, by the time I got to my last roundtable, I knew exactly what was what. I knew that I had the tea. I had the tea the day before. And so my goals just shifted from, survival to clarity. Like I wanted, and I said this before, like I knew I was going out. I was on clear death on my way out. And I felt content, walking out because I said what needed to be said. And I left loud on purpose. Like that was not a mistake. It wasn't rooted in emotion. It wasn't sporadic. It was very intentional. So.
And those damn faithfuls still effed it up. The way that she put his name out there and they still refuse to see it. That's why I say I can't be mad at Rob. Be mad at the faithfuls being so dumb. She put it out there. Yes, the first time around she played it, she downplayed it. Because for me, that was like a warning shot. And then she put his name down. And again, they refused to see it.
I want this show, as brilliant as it was and as fun and amazing as it was to do and to watch. I would love to see, academia like take this on and turn it into a case study or, some like really like get into the meat of the why and the implicit biases that really like are woven into the fabric of.
There's a really great video that someone did on, I wish I had saved it, where they were looking at the implicit bias of the UK version of Traitors and how you see Black people and people of color are voted out almost like at record rates at the very beginning. So if I can find it, I'll share it at another time.
The show.
Get into the way.
All right. So I want to play for you guys another clip from, and we're playing this under fair use from Candiace's podcast, Undomesticated. You can check it out on YouTube and on other social media platforms. But they had Tiffany, who was also on season 4 of The Traitors, who a lot of people had a very strong emotional reaction to her banishment. So Tiffany was on there, and this is what Tiffany had to say in regards to her experience there.
It's always a game to me, but here's the thing. Yes, it's a game, but I'm a real human. The money is real. The emotions are real. My feelings are real. The shit people be saying to you about you is real. I was really offended when I'm at the round table and Colton is telling me, and then even when I'm watching it back and he's like, she gave this insincere, half-ass toast about, like, damn, you insulting me, dude. You could just be like, I think she's a traitor. Mm-hmm. Here's why I think she's a traitor, but you're like coming from my character. And I'm not even a traitor, but thank you for letting me know what you think about me. And I've not even spent that much time with you for you to even know me. And I know that you don't, because you are so incorrect about who you think I am, but maybe that's your biases showing up in this game.
For sure.
Hold on. Lagis says, yes, it was a BBC article. I'm going to have to Google schmoogle it in regards to the biases that they've discovered in the Traitors game. It's me says, the black people always go first. I'm watching the Canada Traitors and they were suspecting the black players right away. It's very interesting. All right, let's keep playing.
I'd venture to say there was a lot of that. A lot of that is what sort of fueled the engine of the game, is implicit bias.
Yeah.
And just in general, it's easiest. Well, I'll ask you, do you think that strong women are pegged more often than someone like a Colton because we stand out just because of the way that we look?
Yeah. I came home thinking I just should have not said anything, blah, blah, blah. But then I was like, what if I would have said nothing and I was still going home? So I'd rather be myself. I'd rather speak my thoughts, my truth, and whatever happens, happens, than to not. I I hate feeling like I have to dumb myself down.
Yes.
That I have to dim my light so that someone isn't offended or just whatever. When, other people don't have that. They can walk around puffing their chest out or whatever, and they can be themselves. I honestly, I'm not going to do it. I don't know how dumb you are. I don't know how to how much I need to lower my thought process to make you feel smarter than me.
Yeah.
I'm not even out here like I'm so damn smart. I'm like, I'm just thinking.
I'm just me. Yeah.
Just think. Does it make sense?
Yep.
Shout out to our friends over at No Chaser TV. Ricky Starr says, it's nothing new. Survivor and Big Brother superfans have been arguing that for years. Why do y'all think the cookout formed in season 23 of Big Brother so that we could have a first Black winner? It's a microcosm of society. And it's important to note, Tiffany was the mastermind behind the cookout on Big Brother from season 23. So that's why I was really excited to see her play this game, because I know she's really, really smart and brilliant. So that's what they had to say. Thank you so much, Ricky, for sharing that. I'm sure. The Girls Club says, same way they eliminated the Black couples on Love Island, the bias was so blatant. That's been another criticism as well. All right. I did want to briefly talk about Ladies of London, because I did end up watching it. I almost completely forgot to talk about it. Ladies of London has returned to Bravo. I remember watching the original Ladies of London, which I loved. This new one, I'm not mad at. They released 2 new episodes. These folks have very interesting stories. I did find it interesting that Dara, who they said that they claimed was a madam, if you watch the second episode, Dara's just like, I don't think this is for me. I don't think I'm going to continue with the show. I don't think she does continue with the show. But the very first episode, they talk about Micah's friend, Dara. And she's like, I heard that she is a madam. And I thought to myself, like, not them calling out one of the only people of color as a madam. But then when Micah brought the information to Dara, Dara's reaction had me go, Dara, why am I more upset than you are? She tried to downplay it. She's like, well, I did hear some more actual realty about you, Micah. And mind you, Micah was the one defending her at this party. Micah was the one defending her at this party. Like, no, I've known her for 24 years. I would have never thought anything like that. But Dara was moving weird. Dara's reaction to that information now has got me thinking, well, Dara, are you? Are you a madam? Okay. But look, I have to say who I'm interested in. She was actually the one spreading the Dara rumor. Michael Francis is interesting. Apparently his mother was a Russian princess. Like, they all have very interesting stories so far. We have a lady that revealed that she's married to a very eccentric man. They work in fashion. You know, some people would think that he's gay. She says that, you know, that's what I like about him is how he is, and that they can get their nails and things painted together. I'm like, okay, you like it, I love it. But you know who I really like? Martha. Martha she's a lady. All right. She's divorced now, though, but that's the only thing that she got in the divorce. But she lives like very, what's the word? Like, oh my God, I can't think of the mother and daughter that lived like in squander over there in, like, what was it, the Long Island or something like that. It's giving very much like that, where she has a bird flying around her house. She wants to renovate it, but she can't really afford to renovate it too much. I'm interested, though, in her, because her personality seems a little like perfect for reality television. So does Michael. Michael looks like, yes, he comes from means, but he's just like happy to be on camera. Like, he's been waiting for his moment to be on camera. I am very fascinated by Emma. Emma is the only person of color left on this cast. Well, that I know of. I can't recall where everyone else is from. I think she is the only person. She's also the only person of color probably left in the royal family. She is part of the royal family, and they're from Bath. I remember when I went to London, I took a trip out to Bath. I'm interested in her because she seems to be like legitimate. Everyone else, I'm not sure about, because I'm also looking at Micah with the side eye, because Dara, her own friend of 20 something years, says that she's sort of pretending about her business of being sort of like a what's the word, etiquette, like the queen of etiquette kind of. She's pretending. So I'm like, okay. Foxy says I like Emma. Emma's probably the only one that I like so far. Well, no, I can't say that. I like Martha. At first, I was giving Martha the side eye. I was like, "Why are you talking about this lady? Being a lady of the night." But when she was confronted with the information, I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, she might be a lady of the night." I'm like, "All right, I'm all right." Grey Gardens, thank you. I couldn't remember. Thank you, Janelle. That's what Martha reminds me of. Grey Gardens. She just doesn't have the daughter. All she needs is to have the daughter living with her in squander. Yeah, thank you, Beatrice. I could remember. I always forget it. Grey Gardens. That's what Martha reminds me of. Okay. Oh yeah, it's Mark Francis. Mark Francis is the only guy. He's the only lady of London that's being considered. I think he's going to be good reality television, if I'm thinking from a producer's point of view. The other American, if you're watching this, she's in green, because she was spreading the information about Dara being a madam as well. She's actually interesting too. I think she would be good stirring the pot as well. I'm interested. I'm gonna give it a watch. I can't promise that I'll be talking about every single week, but I'm interested. Ladies of London, they just dropped 2 new episodes. It's a bunch of parties already. We're slowly but surely getting to know everyone's story. Yeah, I don't know. If I had to rate it from 1 to 10, I thought the first 2 episodes were a solid 7.5. 7.5. Ladies of London, The New Reign has returned to Bravo, if you were looking for something new to watch. I have to say Martha probably was the one who sparked my interest. Dara, based off episode 2, feels like she won't be back after episode 2, after being confronted about being a madam. I was just like, Was he on Made in Chelsea? I used to watch Mark Francis on Made in Chelsea. He was more of a supporting character, but he was hilarious. Well, he felt like he was the star of Ladies of London because he was narrating basically like who everyone is. When Dara was making the speech in episode 2 about how everyone, were, self-made, they all were looking around the table, self-made. Because then they literally listed like where everyone came from. None of them were really self-made. Maybe 1 or 2 of them, but like 3 of them are like, we're definitely not self-made. We come from very established families. Okay. But anyway, yeah. He was on Made in Chelsea. I don't remember if I've ever watched that or maybe I started watching it. Yes, Stanbury is probably gonna run back over there, London to be Housewives. Well, she was already on Real Housewives of London. She made a couple of appearances on Real Housewives of London. She really does have the connection. So for me, if Caroline Stanbury decided to be on any of these shows, I wouldn't be opposed to it because she really does run in these circles, including the Epstein circles. Just saying, she does. Oh, damn. Janelle says Mark Francis ended a friendship with someone because the person owned a sleeping bag. Yeah, sounds about right. Foxy says Dara was the ex of one of Andrew's and Fergie's daughters, now husband. Wait. Dara was the ex of one of Andrew and Fergie's daughters, now husband. They have a child together. Dara and this guy have a child together? I can't keep up. So they run in these circles, but wait a second. So Dara may have been a madam? Because the way that she was talking of, when she would come into these rooms on this episode, she was sort of like she could refer to herself as a connector. All right. Janelle says that Made in Chelsea used to be on Peacock and Hulu at different times, but now I don't know where to find it. Maybe that's where I ended up seeing it. Yeah. Ella says Made in Chelsea is on Hulu in Europe. Ella says Real Housewives of London is amazing. I did watch it. I thought it was good. I thought it was coming to Peacock. I'm surprised that it's not on Peacock. Wait, they talked about it on the show? I must have missed that part. Remember, I was trying to watch both episodes before this live, so I probably missed a couple of things. Princess Beatrice, I think. Okay. All right. I must have missed that part, y'all, as I was trying to do multiple things. Okay. All right. And that is it, guys, for our Friday live. I will add the timestamps when I get a chance. KK says, a connector, aka Madam. Now I believe it. At first, I was defending her. I was offended for her. But when confronted with the information, she was sort of like, she didn't deny it, right? Oh, all right. Fine. Look, fine. All right. I do want to say thank you to everyone that liked the video. If you haven't liked it already, we're almost at 600 likes. Be sure to like the video. If you're part of the replay crew, be sure to let us know your thoughts and opinions on anything that we discussed, from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills to Traitors to Ladies of London, or any of the stories, including Real Housewives of New York coming back and Real Housewives of Miami not coming back. Okay. Janelle says Dara is the baby mama to Princess Beatrice's husband's first child. Eduardo, hubby, met Beatrice, broke up with Dara, and then they got married during COVID, before Prince Philip died. Ugh, that's messy. So he left Dara to be with the princess so that he could be. Look, I feel like a lot of people in that society, they are like social climbing. They're trying to, because that's such importance. Even if it doesn't mean anything, there's no money to it. Sometimes there's money to it, but if it doesn't, it just gives them a higher stature in life. Now he's married to a princess. Now he's closer to the royal family. But also, is Dara really a madam? Did he really want to be married to Dara? Dara doesn't really bring him any social standing. Okay. Janelle says, however, Dara publicly says that she likes Beatrice and that she's a good stepmother to their son. But probably to kind of, we don't know how these circles, sort of run, because I wouldn't be shocked. Is she going to say anything negative about Princess Beatrice? Because that could affect her social standing or her clients. Bye. I gotta go. Look. Don't forget, guys, I will be live, though, this evening for those that didn't get a chance to attend our last Kempire After Dark, a live show. I will be sharing that unedited version, so buckle up for the curse words and all, okay? But I'll be premiering it live, but then it will be only available for members after, okay? So be there, 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. What is that? 5 p.m. PST, okay? The link is already available. If you're still here, it should go right into that, so you can set your reminders for that. But don't forget the Kempire After Dark live show. So next Friday, there will not be a Friday live because I have a live show here in New York City. So go get your tickets if you're in New York City, tri-state area, or will be. But if you can't, there is a live stream option. So if you want that live stream on you want your Friday live, it will be during my live show here in New York City, March 13th at the Green Room 42. Ticket information will be available in the description. All right. Thank you to our King's Guards. Thank you to our channel members. Become a member today at teamkempire.com/join. And of course, thank you to our subscribers. Those of you watching in the bushes, those of you watching the replay, we appreciate you. Let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. All right. All right. Tika B says it's a date. I'll see you guys tonight for that, because I'll be providing commentary as we're watching it as well. So I won't just be playing it for you guys. I'll be providing commentary and things like that as well. All right. All right, everyone. Keep liking the video if you haven't already. We're almost at 600 likes. I will see you all in the next one. And don't forget, you can also hear this on the Kempire podcast. Who subscribed to the podcast? Let me know in the chat and in the comment section. I'll see you all in the next one. And don't forget to check out the description in regards to Factor Meals. They're a sponsor for today's live. Everyone have a great weekend. Bye, Jamaki. Bye, y'all.
Here we go now.